Okay, am I on the air? No, I'm not. No, I'm not on the air. I'm gonna pull it. Let me just pull this out. Oh, cookie dough. No, bear claw. I wanted cookie dough. I was pulling a Jeffrey Tobin. Like, let me just pull this out on the air, and let me see if my Tobin. Let me just. Oh, it's on the air. There we go. Yeah, he's the CNN guy that pulled his wiener out on the air and started doing it. That was quite interesting. I thought, what a simp. I mean, what an absolute simp to do that. Let me see if I check my sound. My sound's okay. And hello, Hetty. How you doing? Sunday, kind of no one's around. It's probably be a short one, but and I really didn't know what I was talking about. I was thinking Joey would be around, and he's not today. So I'll just put this up here if anybody wants to come in and talk. There we go. There's the StreamYard link, and it's up there if anybody wants to come in and we can talk MGTOW. And yeah, interesting news about that guy. He was in a Zoom call. Jeffrey Tobin was in a Zoom call, and this is the epitome of a simp. And he's got a wife and 3 kids, and probably what they say was a decent what the newscasters and the same people would say they have such a decent life. And after the Zoom call, he was like, thought the camera was off, and he was like, oh yeah, let me just pull this out. What a simp. And he masturbated on TV, or well, at least on the Zoom call. And so that was big news. They gave him his job back too because he was apologetic. And I guess what you have to do in those situations is be apologetic. But someone like us MGTOWs, we just wonder. My settings are a little off. I can, yeah, my light's a little off. I got a shitload of light in here, and I can never get enough light. And that's about it. It's best I can do. This green screen is really kind of starting to irritate me, and I have flying ants in my hair. Okay. But today we're going to talk a little bit about MGTOW, and anybody that wants to come in can come in today. And I was thinking earlier about the overrepresentation of veterans and homelessness and MRA and MGTOW. To be frank, there's a lot more veterans. There's probably about 50% of the people that I meet in the MRA and are veterans, and I've never really met any homeless MGTOWs. But or just traveling MGTOWs, probably what you would call homeless, or going galt MGTOWs and that. But in the homeless, it's represented by like 36% homelessness, and that's because it's something they do to you. You can never be a part of their world. I like to always refer back to the Shakespeare play called Coriolanus. Coriolanus was a great MGTOW Shakespeare play, because Coriolanus was a general, and he came back and he wanted to be the ruler, but he could never be the ruler, and they did everything they could to him so he could never ever rule the country. And he was considered to be harsh, and he was considered to be violent, which I never seen him do any violent acts in the plays. I never seen him be harsh, but it's a consideration of once you've crossed that line and there are some Velopia, I think the mother's name was. She gave some comment she sent her boy off, a boy, and until he came back after war, he wasn't a man, and she considered that until a boy. And then when he does come back and he tries to be upwardly mobile in society, they kick him out and they ostracize him and they banned him from the city. And let me see. Oh, Claire goes, MGTOW, he's around. Okay. And he banned him from the city. And then he started an uprising, a rebellion. And that seems like what happens Oh, okay. Let me add Loki in. I think this is Hetty, probably Hetty Loki. And I think I'll wait to see the voice, and I put the StreamYard link up in the thing, and we could talk about that. But in the show, or the play, he was never allowed to be, because he was considered to be too mannish, too brutish, to have all those qualities of aggression and those things. And that's where men are today. That's what it's getting for men. We're considered to be aggressive, brutish. When considered to a child, or when considered to a female, we are. But when considered to each other, and most of us just, well, he jokes some, and he does things like that. But okay, there it is, Amsterdam. You can unmute yourself if you want. Can't unmute because the guest is muted.
Yes, hello.
Hello, how you doing, Loki?
Good.
Good. Lokil?
Yes, you have to pronounce it in French, because
Okay, that's
there's a French relative, the name.
Oh, the name is French?
No, it is Arabic, but how you to pronounce it is the French way, because the French occupied.
Okay, it's French occupied.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, they do a lot of screwed up things to names, the French. I noticed when I was doing a research project on Albert Camus, and they pronounce it Camus, and then I looked at his ancestry in the town that he lived in, and it was not. Let me do this, and it was not. It was not Albanian. It was higher up. I can't remember what it said, but it would come under the Turkish, and his name, his father, and all the people in that town were that. And then the French made them like say Camus, but it would be pronounced Samas.
Yes, but the French have their own language.
Yeah,
and it used to be a world language before English.
Now, when I was doing that, I immediately went over to Nietzsche, and Nietzsche was Dutchy. He was from your part of the world, and that would be pronounced Nietzsche. Nietzsche. I think I got that right, Nietzsche. And then, but the French make them pronounce it Nietzsche.
Yes, there was the French were the French used to they're now liberal, but they were the most racist ever racist evil pigs.
Yeah, they were.
I can tell you that history.
Yeah, I was married to a French girl. I will agree with that 100%. There are certain cultural differences that are, and that's what my grandfather told me. If you marry a French girl, you're going to have to deal with those cultural differences. And I thought that I knew them, but I didn't.
Most marriages you don't know.
Yeah, that's
even if you know.
Really, you think you know this partner because that special bond. You got that electric that goes between you that they told of me in biology class. That's not real.
No, but the relationships in the old days, a man used to be, if he was 50, he died.
Yeah.
40, 50. So the couples, when they went together, 20 years, 10 years, finished.
Yeah, you were supposed to just have kids and then exit this world. And now on that subject, I was looking at the replacement rate this week.
Yes, you said you had they say over replacement rate, but they're forgetting that people are getting older.
Right, they're forgetting people. Let's put it like this: your father has a baby at 20 years old, and that's you. And then you have a baby at 20 years old. Your father's still 40. Yeah. And then his grandfather's probably on this earth. So there's 3 of you now. And then your son has a baby at 20, and there's probably still 3 of you. Maybe your grandfather has passed because that's a reasonable age to pass. But in the replacement rate, they do this expectation, this pre-antecedent thing where somebody born, somebody dies. That's like expected. It's so funny. And we found with the Chinese that you can bring the replacement rate down, but your population is still going to grow exponentially with a linear time.
Yes, and also the life expectation in China
Yeah.
is also much higher than it used to be.
Yeah. You know what else I noticed with that? And you'll find this funny, that people come to me when they argue with me. They'll use just the idioms. Oh, it takes 2. So now you got a woman and a man. And they'll go, and I'll say, well, the rate, she was covered in her father's child rate. So you don't add her in twice. The exponents are, so men get, so in their eyes, in the rate, men get fractionated into 50%, and the women get added twice at 150%.
And yeah, it's not logic, but
And that's not logic at all. And I was like, there's so many things wrong with the methodology when I start looking at things. And it's maybe I'm just graced with rationality, but it hurts some days.
now also in the biggest problem in the Western world is housing.
Outing.
The housing problem.
Housing, yeah, we have a huge problem, and
even America, a big country, but there are no affordable houses.
There's no affordable housing for. Yeah, it's all capitalist run by the rich, and the rich want you to pay the highest amount, and it's in all these housing. This is what happened in the crash. All this housing goes to it goes into these funds. And then
hedge funds.
They want to, the hedge funds, they want to get maximum profit out of that. So how do you get maximum profit? You up the rent. What's the rent in your area, Juliet?
Yeah, it's gone way up. It's
way up.
Way up. Yeah. I mean, I see. Okay. So I live in a pretty good area. It's like 1 bedrooms. I saw a new place. It was $1,600 for like 600 or 700, 800 square foot, and then they had 2 bedrooms that had about 1,200 square foot. They were going for $2,200.
Yeah. Now I think this is part of the reason why we're seeing the suicide rate in males, because it's when you think about when I planned retirement, I had a set amount I planned on, and that was a 2000, well, probably a 2010, 2008 idea. A planned retirement, and if I had to live on that now, I wouldn't make it.
Yeah,
I would be homeless. And
the bigger cities are getting way out of hand with the cost of living. So I think I was talking to Black Wolf about this. Like, we were thinking, like, the smaller cities are definitely the way to go, because you can find some places that are really. Like I know in upstate New York, you can get a pretty good rental in a good area, like 800 square foot, like $1 a square foot. So it's almost like, so in these bigger cities like Vegas, you're paying $2 a square foot for rent, and then in the smaller town, say like Buffalo or something, you're gonna pay about $1 a square foot. So it's almost like everyone wants the excitement of living in these big cities. Oh, I'm gonna have all these great jobs and all this kind of stuff, but all you're doing is the money you're making, you're just giving it to the landlord.
You're giving it to someone, and this has a rent. Doesn't even it starts. If I wanted to, and this was the problem when I put in for my loan for the coffee shop, like I couldn't they wouldn't give me the loan for a building, and buildings were so expensive, or I couldn't rent a building. When I did go to rent, you know what they wanted for rent? In a small corner shop that we have hundreds of them boarded up around here, they wanted $1,100. Now I'm starting to think, how many cups of coffee do I have to sell just to pay the rent. And I'm paying someone that's not doing no work.
Yeah.
I'm doing all the work. And automatically they get half my profit.
Yeah. 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 So you have to make adjustments in life. I think
these are the barriers when I talk about barriers to equality, and so some people we won't achieve those barriers. That's why the small business loan people have been so tattered that it's expected that you pay the rich guy for your business, you pay the rich guy for your home, and they're not going to build a variety of homes like in China. They're not going to drive the rent down.
Yeah, it's insane. They're just the rich get richer. They make it, they make adjustments to take advantage,
Yeah. Well,
so you make an adjustment yourself. You either maybe consider a roommate. You find someone that you've known a long time that you could trust.
Yeah.
You get a roommate and you rent the room. That's a MGTOW power, right?
Now that's the way they do it. Now that's what we got to start talking about in MGTOW is dudes living with dudes. If you have a 3-room house like this, you have 3 rooms, and then I got some more room out there. We could have like 5 dudes living here comfortably, and the rent and everything split. That's what you have to start looking for. But that is sort of unfair to people. Well,
yeah, I think so.
It's still not solving the problem of the rich are just getting richer for sitting on their ass.
Right, that's right.
And because they've hijacked real estate.
Yeah, they all hijacked it here also. In Holland, the house price doubled in 10 years' time. Double, tripled, even. In Amsterdam, a house costs now about 600,000 euros.
600,000 euros? That's a...
Yes. And if you are in the center or close by the center, 600,000 in the cheapest house, and they're also selling houses about $1 million.
That's way too much. That's like living on the shore up here in a castle. That's what we, that's. But
yeah, and there's a 4-room bedroom apartment or house. 4 rooms apartment, about 900,000. That's quite a bit.
Yeah, that's like New York rent.
Yes, no, but it's also to do we have another problem. We have the Paris Treaty, and the Paris Treaty has obliged the Dutch. They can't build too much houses because then they have too much CO2 and pipes and other stuff. It's also a political drama.
Yeah, now this sort of fakely coincided with a lumber shortage because of the work shortage in this last year, and then the housing prices went up so conveniently for these people. But when we had the housing crash was predicated on the housing market in the United States, which is overinflated then, and they were trying to push the housing prices up. And then we had the housing crash. The housing crash went down, pushed the market down. Now they've got what they want. The housing prices are way up.
You know what I consider the issue is, okay, so they got this runaway inflation because the government's printing money, right? And here's the thing: the salary has stayed the same. The labor wage, you know what I mean? It hasn't gone up. Like
right.
I was making more. Yeah, I was making more money 15 years ago than I am now, and my skills and my abilities and talent have gone way up, right? Everything. So my ability to do the job has gone way up, but I'm making slightly less money. It's so it's that, and then you got the inflation. So now how are you supposed to keep up? I mean, you pick up another job. I mean,
right? You have to work 2 jobs and
work 2 jobs or like I said, get a roommate. You have to make the adjustment, but. Yeah, so I think that's another issue too. Is like because I've noticed these salaries. Yeah, they're actually slightly gone down. It seems like it's just very odd.
Yeah. Male skills are been depreciated too.
Right.
People don't use the builders, which are the rich, and they're just building the houses, and they're not using skilled labor to put in.
No.
They're not. It used to be you called an electrician and you paid an electrician's fee, or you called a plumber and you paid a plumber a plumber's fee,
Yeah.
and then the pay was, the pay was too pretty good, and it was to what they did and everything and their skills. But now they just they call in part-time workers that may know about electrician. They tell them what to do, and it could get done right. It could not get done right. And I see thousands and thousands of jobs over my life when I went into a house and what's wrong here. And then I just went to this house up the street. A lady was having problems. And I told you, Joey, but I looked at the wiring, and the wire was an English wiring. And I said, this is all wrong, and you can't do this here in America. And then I had to adjust my mind to how they would wire something in England.
Yeah.
And it was just all wrong. And but that's what happens. You get you get what we call Mexican three ways, and then you get to, and then you get they just don't do the common right, and the white.
Yeah. I was actually, did you have any plaster issues?
And there was some plaster issues too.
I know somebody that's really good at plastering.
Somebody's really good at plastering. But plastering cracks.
Well, I mean, yeah. So I would say the bigger thing is, here's the thing. I think being creative, that's like the best tool for a MGTOW is creativity, I think, because when you're creative, you're not going to let these outside factors kind of make you snap and whatever, right? So you're creative and you have an open mind, and you can figure out different ways to make money, different ways to save money, and you make that adjustment, and then you're not even really consult. The only people you're going to consult with will probably be other MGTOW. You don't talk to simps. You don't ask simps for, hey, what do I do in this situation? I'm trying to save money. I'm trying to make more money. They don't know, because their worldview is so much different, because they have so many dependents. So
right.
So that's why we come to you guys, and to try, you and RP, JK, Black Wolf. I was talking to Pete from Juice Power. The guy's super smart. Jeff. So I go to other MGTOW, and then I get good information, and I can make the adjustment, and I'll be fine. So I would just add creativity, being creative in those situations. Is very important.
Yeah. Now, housing, MGTOW is going to have to start looking at pushing the idea of, and this is more of that they're forcing us back into that 50s lifestyle, which wasn't very good, where you had bachelor houses, and you see it on TV in a 1950 movie when the bachelor went to the house and there were 6 other bachelors living there, and they all had a single room.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it's going to be. You're no longer going to be able to afford. You're no longer going to be able to afford that. And usually, it was a female landlord that at that time that inherited the house from her husband that's dead, dead daddy money, and that's what they want you to go back to.
Yes, the great example is Japan. Japan, in Tokyo, you have they call it minimalist buildings.
Right.
Only a paper wall. It's not plaster, nothing. A paper wall.
Yeah, they have those internet. You get internet, and you get this small. It's a cubicle, is what it is, to sleep in.
Yes,
and
very small. I think
with common showers and
90 feet or so. I think it was.
Yeah, that's like living at a YMCA.
90 feet, 80 feet, and that's it.
No, that's too small. 8 feet.
9 feet by, yeah.
You need at least, I think a MGTOW needs at least, gosh, I want to say, the worst case scenario, maybe 300 square feet. I mean, if you're a big guy, then boy, you need at least probably 600 square feet. I mean, even that's kind of small. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can get away with a small kitchen and a room
Yeah.
and somewhere to sit,
Yeah,
and that's
just somewhere to
usually
relax.
that's what you
Yeah.
would call a flat or a flat or one room or a flat's just you can get away with a comfortable flat, but
Yeah. Yeah.
man, they're pushing us towards. But this has indications of overpopulation here too. It's not so bad in the United States that we're tremendously overpopulated, and that's another problem MGTOW's trying to solve, as
Yeah.
the overpopulation. But worldwide, this thing's crazy, and other countries aren't.
Yeah.
Even when you talk about, like a MGTOW talks about, don't get married, don't have children, and that stuff. It's not worth it. There's no legacy. There's not a legacy in this world that equals up to the happiness that you of having children, and because you're just going to end up most of the time, 86% of the time, you're just going to end up in the baby mama system, and then try to afford this rent and everything, or trying to buy a house on the baby mama system, because half your pay, 2/3 of your pay is gone.
Yeah. You're talking about when you're not a MGTOW.
Well, yeah, if you're not a MGTOW and you try
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
navigate
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
that minefield.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what causes guys like that guy in Amazon to jump and kill himself.
Right.
So
Right.
we have to, like, one of the things I always tell people is just don't panic. And I learned this from a really smart guy who he was an engineer and whatever. I don't know if he was a MGTOW, and he wasn't married and didn't have children, so he's sort of a MGTOW, but whatever. And he used to always tell me that, like, don't panic, like, because I remember when I bought my house 15 years ago, it went down in value by a lot.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So I bought it for
mine
like
did
maybe
too here.
$500,000. I bought it for $500,000, right? And then it went down to like 200,000, right? So he told me, he goes, well, because you're a young guy, he said, just don't panic. I said, don't panic. Make sure you think things through positively. He said, I didn't panic. I listened to his advice because he was a success, right? And he had that MGTOW sort of mentality. Even, and I don't know if he's, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to label the guy TFL and so whatever, but he's a smart guy, put it that way. So, and he's not married, has no dependents, right? So this is a guy who has a good worldview in terms of best decision to make. And I just waited and I patiently, and now sure enough, the market heated up. I built up all that equity over 15. It took 15 years, but the main thing he told me was not to panic, and I think that's important for MGTOW to understand is like. You don't, because the reason is we only have to take care of ourselves. We shouldn't have these codependency feelings about the world and even close relatives or, if you're in a good position where you can help others, hey, you know what? That's up to you. I try to help homeless people when I can, when I have a few extra bucks.
Yeah.
And I think that makes me feel good. But, if I'm in a position where things are tight, well, you know what? Then, hey, I got to take care of myself right now. So, don't panic. Don't panic in these situations where that the world tries to make you do, because obviously this guy that wasn't a MGTOW in Amazon over here in Vegas, he jumped. He just had enough. So stay calm and don't panic. And when you mix that in with creativity, you can really have a good life. Anyway, sorry for the rant. I just
Now, TFL Whisper, you also have to remember now is there are more people are going on the edge. There are more people are going to kill themselves
yeah.
if the problem's coming.
Right. Now that's the problem with this kind of society that the elite are building, is they have no sense of standpoint epistemology, what it's like to live as a person that's a normal person. So they think, oh, you just pay the rent and you should better afford that. That's nothing.
Yeah.
And because they think it's nothing, because when you have billions of dollars and you have millions and millions of dollars, yeah, that is nothing to them, but that's only 10% of the society. The rest of us, that money means something. Money has value, and they so devalued money. But the suicide rate, but that's generally according to the happiness rate, and we talk about it a lot. Is life worth living? at a certain point, if they keep going their way, life's not worth living for a lot of men, and they commit suicide.
Yeah, they get this. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, and how America's history is, I think uh, America has also a violent society. Sorry to say it, but you have a violent
What?
history.
It's a what society?
A
I'm sorry.
violent.
A violence. Yeah, we
Oh
have.
yeah, everyone's very aggressive, and they're
And,
more
and very
East
aggressive.
Coast, United States, very aggressive.
Yeah,
Part of the
and perhaps it is also to do with because in all the Western world there is universal health care. In
yeah,
America, there
yeah.
isn't.
No. You pay for
It's
your.
only by a job, I think.
Well, yeah. If you have,
Yeah.
but if you have a low income, you can still qualify for health insurance. You know, it depends on it's all income based, but it's like, yeah, it's so yeah. There's some
But it's
healthcare.
peanuts if you compare it with Canada.
Yeah, yeah. It's like 17. It's like around I think 15 to 20,000 for if you're a MGTOW. It's like if you're making 15, 20,000 or less, then you're gonna qualify. But yeah, and then, but here's the thing that's fucked up. If you're married, it's like goes way up. It's like, it's like 30,000. You know,
Right. Yeah.
like they're incentivizing marriage. Like they're, you know what I mean? I know there's more people involved, but yeah, they're incentivizing marriage. It's like it's such a bad system. You're right, but here's the thing.
They're incentivizing the baby mama system.
Yeah, they're
But,
that
yeah,
too.
they're and then they can. But also the biggest problem in the West is now is there are too many single mamas.
Too many single mamas. Yeah. You know what
Yeah.
it costs? You know who pays for that? Well, that comes out of our altruism fund, that our Social Security, general Social Security funds. That all comes out of that, and the Health and Human Services funds. But men have always paid that into that. Now they're just abusing that system now. And I hate to do the Ronald Reagan baby mamas and all that stuff, because that's not really true. Men have always offered to be altruistic and pay taxes. So we have a backdrop system that could be leaned on if in them cases. But now it seems like that is the system. That, I mean, there's a difference between there's a difference between the norm and the exception to the norm. And now the exception to the norm seems to be the norm, where you have baby single mothers will baby daddy on 1, 2, 3, 4, because if you get that, that's 4 individuals plus your income is 5 incomes, and you live pretty good. And
Yes,
you don't have to take
the octopus mama was also yes, she had 11 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mama, yeah.
octopus mama. Yeah, they called her octopus mama, and someone of Fox News said that was she cost us the American says it $1 million.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
That's about right.
it's our money. It's our money that they're taking, of course.
Yes.
But
But I really don't understand how women can get 11 kids.
because they love it. They love it. That's a retirement plan.
Well, yeah, that is their retirement plan.
Sure it is.
Now you see the guy that the first thing that came to my mind, and the guy that just shot the elderly woman, and it was you have elderly women now fighting for their trying to get their kids because they know that's money. And I see that I told you I seen that at the bank where they'll just file and say she's a bad mother.
Yeah.
And then the parents get it, and that's the parent of a baby mama of a baby mama, and they're both fighting over these kids because she can no longer have kids, and she wants that income. And that's what they think about, the income, not the kids, not the fathers that are separated from those kids.
Yeah. They're thinking of the income, and they're thinking of the long-term potential of the child. That this guy could end up being a doctor or a lawyer or something. I mean, right? Isn't that how women think? Like
that's how women think, because that's sexual cryptis.
Yeah, that's why they want the good DNA. So they down the line, right? They want to go after those at least they used to. I don't know if they're still doing it. But yeah, you get more babies, and yeah, obviously you're getting the immediate benefit from the state, but then also you're getting the potential of that child being a good slave for the mother down the line, right? I don't know. Is that accurate, you think, Trev?
Yeah.
It depends also on the country. In Holland, a single mother, they get people in welfare get here around 1,400 euros.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying like long term, like the women
Yes,
play the long term game too. Because I know myself. Like I was like, I don't know.
Right. They play the long term game with it. They get free college, so their educational level can go up.
Yeah.
They can bank on that in their elderly years. And men,
right? But they got like they got someone that can take care of them too. Like
right.
Oh, my boy is gonna be a doctor, or
right?
Whatever, right?
And take care of them.
Right. They got someone always around that's gonna be around for them, and obviously provides more security because women are insecure, right? So they need the more.
Right, and that's what most likely will happen. And the boys, and I've seen this with my son and a lot of other sons, that they automatically took responsibility for the mother.
That's right.
And even though her choice was just to leave the original baby daddy number one, just for Dick.
Yeah.
That's what she left for. And I know it's fucked up, but she left for Dick.
Yeah. She has more sources of potential income down the line, and then also, it's really So you have to understand these things, right? That's why we don't participate. That's why we walk away.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, shit. I mean, I don't want to advocate anyone quitting a job, but I've quit like probably 4, 5, 6-figure jobs, man, because I just, and I thought it through. I worked for these companies for maybe a year or two, and I just said, not into this company's really screwed up, man. They're just very, but I couldn't do that if I wasn't a MGTOW. I could not do that. And believe me, I'm in a good financial position, so I can do that. But I wouldn't recommend it. But when you're married and you have dependents, you're gonna have less choices. You're gonna have a really stressful life.
Right.
Now, I have a MGTOW lifestyle now because for my work, I don't work for full time. I work part time, and it's by choice because why would I work so hard?
That's right.
Yeah.
Everybody's leeching here.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, and it's almost like why I chose to. I'm kind of in a similar situation where I'm doing probably working half as hard as I used to, and or I shouldn't say hard, but less half the hours. Yeah, like part time myself. Yeah. It's a better life. It's a better life, isn't it, Hetty? It's a better life.
No, but my job is also a bit different because in public transport I have to sit there, do my work, and when I go home I'm finished.
Yeah, beautiful.
And you have your ride, and that's it. Overtime, no, nothing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like substitute teaching. That sounds like substitute. I used to substitute teach, and wow, what a great schedule. Because I would just now. I've saved my money over the years. I don't have I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't chase broads. So that's huge, right? I save my money, whatever. So I roll out of bed at like 6, 7 in the morning. Well, do I feel like working today? Okay. Yeah, I'll go to work. I feel like going for a walk in the park. I'll go for a walk in the park. So that's a beautiful situation. I mean, damn, it's like compared to what I used to do, corporate world. Oh, forget it.
Yeah, and there's also and now I'm thinking to do a second job with another colleague in security because I was security guard here before.
Yeah.
So I can keep some money behind for in the future.
That sounds like a badass MGTOW right there. Security guy. I don't think I'd want to mess with Hetty.
No. I'm the company security is very different because you have to sit down and you go by the fire alarm. It's not the security guard of a smasher. How you call it? They're always staying by bars or so. No,
Yeah, you just
I'm not for that. I'm too old, too fat, and
Oh, that's
corporate
okay. When you're
security is
MGTOW,
like
that's okay.
just check people in, make sure everybody has a pass.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But that's good though. You sounds like you're living a low stress life. You're making just enough, hopefully you're get an opportunity to save a couple bucks for the rainy day, but that's not as important as a MGTOW. But like, you sounds like you're having a real peaceful life.
yes, and I'm also glad I'm living in the city, so, because everything is close by.
Yeah. You don't need a car, right? You don't even need.
I have a car, but I drive only 2 times a week or so, or three.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's
My
different ways of looking at it, right? Different ways of looking at it. Some MGTOW like the urban areas, some MGTOW just want to live in the country and whatever. And then there's the middle, right? Different
yes,
spectrum.
my parents live also in the city, so that's why
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
also in the city because I'm close to them.
yeah, yeah. Good.
Father is also a little bit 75, yeah, 75. So he's a little bit old, so
So
he needs also something.
yeah, yeah. That's why. But these outside factors, I know. Like I look at the rents here in Vegas, and it's like, wow, cost of living in Vegas has just skyrocketed in like the last 5 years, and and it's going to keep going up because these bloodthirsty or these money thirsty landlords, they just they know exactly how much to charge and how to maximize profits, and you know so that sounds like
Yeah.
you're yeah, go ahead, Joe, sorry.
I was wondering if this is this something to MGTOW we got to renegotiate MGTOW in a certain way when we start thinking about our philosophy and everything. Are there new bits of sense, or is this just men have to make this stop?
Yeah, well, I think look at Hetty. I think he played it perfectly. He's like, why should I kill myself, right? And let me just cut back. Maybe I'll get another job doing security. Like that's something I enjoy, and so you make adjustments. And for me, the adjustment might be I might need to get a roommate because I want to save that
Right.
$400-500 a month. Because I'm now, instead of doing that corporate sales job where I was making six figures, well, now I'm making maybe a third of that teaching or less. But it does. But the key is finding that good roommate, I guess, in that situation. But like, to me, I'd rather have the time. I'm like Hetty. I'd rather have that extra time to
Right. I
to
would
be
rather
more
have the time off.
right. Why have? Yeah, because corporate life is they're stressful because especially now with the technology, with the emails and they're tracking everywhere you are. It's a totally different game.
Yeah. Yeah. There seems to be just a little bit. It's a little way differently to think about your MGTOW and everything, but it's still the same. It's there's if you want to enjoy Burgess individualism, then you have to set your path correctly.
Yeah, yeah. And it's almost like they really push people into this total slavery mentality in terms of
Right, but yeah, that's the adjustment they made.
yeah,
There's always
yeah,
this dielectric to what MGTOW and men are doing, and the reaction seems to be what men are doing is they're starting to move backwards into this. I hate to say it, into these 1950 living environment, and
yeah,
which
yeah.
I always said that was a mistake, and you want to go back to the 50s, you're a fool, and but society's going, okay, you want that? We'll give you that.
They're going crazy. Even in areas that are kind of considered not that expensive, are still expensive. I was looking at some properties
It's
in Buffalo. They were like
even up
still
here.
like $1,200 for like a pretty decent good apartment in a good area. It's still $1,200. That's in Buffalo. And the weather bad, whatever. That's expensive, man. It shouldn't cost that much.
Yeah, and that's based on their idea of this mating situations where, okay, you're going to have two people, you're going to have two people, and that's either
Right,
two bachelors, two
right,
single women, or a married couple, and you're both
right.
going to have to work.
I think that's how the simps think. Is like, well, if I'm gonna have a room, I might as well have a bitch. At least I can bang her.
Yeah, now that's the simp thinking that took over this this environment. Now they're all thinking like simps, and it's like, okay, if there's going to be two people in there, we'll charge them double the rent.
Right. They're encouraging cohabitation.
Yeah, they're encouraging cohabitation. Now we start looking at Marxism and stuff like that. Now that's my thought was a sort of male-oriented Marxism for this thing, where we have to start becoming very aggressive with the Burgess on these things. Otherwise, they're going to keep pushing the rent up. But it's going to have to be. Right now, we have a female-oriented Marxism and socialism, and people can't unless you're a MGTOW or an MRA or something, you don't know the difference.
Well, and it gives leverage to the corporation too, because now they're like, oh, we can treat our employees like crap because
We
they
can
really
treat
need
everybody
this
like crap.
job. Yeah, they really need this job because look at all the bills. They got all these bills piling up. Look at the cost of living. Look at the cost of buy a house. So now we can really get a lot of utility out of them and treat them like crap, because they need the job.
We talk about the social contract was made in the 20s and 30s. Well, that's what the social contract was. If the rich want to be like that, okay, we'll keep rent low, we keep jobs, we'll keep. You don't ask too much of a human being and everything. It's not a slavery thing, and we'll deal with you. And there was a give and a take there, but the rich seem to be pushing that take end now, where we have to redevelop and that all came by force. When the big crash happened, the poor were starting to victimize the rich. And we'll say, well, we won't victimize you if you don't victimize us. But now it's all predatory capitalism, where you victimize whoever, and the rich are in position to victimize the poor now. That they're definitely in violation of the social contract.
That's why I think these big cities are definitely, they're already dangerous as it is, right? But they're going to continue to get bad because the crime's going to go up because people are going to get kicked out of their houses, and then they get desperate. Because I see homeless people a lot, and any city, like and you can see the desperation on their face, so they're willing to do whatever it takes to survive, right? And so they're going to be, that's why you see more crime in the urban downtown areas of any city. You're going to see a lot of crime. But,
yes, but the government of the USA is also the main responsibility of crimes, because you have an overpopulated prison. Also, in comparison with the other countries.
Yeah.
And 2 million people locked up. Why? Can you tell me why? You can't tell me. Nobody. But why?
Yeah, them are usually non-violent crimes too, or
yes, and for petty crimes. I'm sorry to
petty
say.
crimes. Yeah.
And you can give a fine or labor camps for 6 months and it's finished. But they put people 25 years in prison for minor things. The prison industry.
Yeah.
It's like the housing.
Right. Yeah. So I don't think as long as we have this, where people, we're not going to have what they figured out is censorship is very useful to these people, especially in the news, and the people that are pushing the policies and everything now, with the female Marxism I was talking about, because they can just censor you out, and this is going to leave a vast hole in the thinkers of our society that could figure these out. They did that in Germany. No one was allowed to think anymore with that kind of totalitarian regime. You're just not,
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Joe. I was just going to talk about creativity again. That's why having a creative mind is so important.
Right. We're tailing back on the. I can't remember the last time I heard of a new philosopher, and you're not allowed to say things anymore. You're not allowed to say honest or truthful things, and I think MGTOW is the new philosophy.
That's right.
So, but with the censorship, that just falls right into their hand. But that's part of the female Marxism. And I don't even know if it's Marxism that they practice. I think they practice something totally different that's closer to socialism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, but you know, like what you just said, it's like, yeah, the people don't understand. They have choices. Like like they're trying to take away all your choices, right?
Trying to take away all your
just
choices.
give them the big F you, middle finger, and say, no, I'm a strong, independent male.
But this never works out for the male. It's just slavery for us. It's just you work harder,
right.
you work longer hours, you'll work for less pay, and you'll take care of the girls.
Right,
And,
right. Go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
So the only class that is becoming the Burgess class are females.
That's right. Yeah, and yeah.
I mean, I wish I had big titties and I'd just go get a free house, pop out a couple of babies, they'll pay me like $60,000 a year.
Yeah, you should see these bitches out on the West Coast, man, with their fake boobs and all the makeup, and then their ass hanging out. I see these fat chicks now wearing like yoga pants and like proud of it. It's like, oh, men like big ass now. That's a definite.
I was gonna do yoga pants.
Yeah, they're so fucking stupid. And yeah, you gonna start wearing yoga pants?
I was gonna do the yoga pants, coach.
Yeah, it's too late to get your boob job, or no? Is that a possibility?
Oh man,
no, lots of women are overweight.
Overweight women. I'm talking about 200-pound women wearing yoga pants.
Yeah,
and it's just, and then they got their fat boobs hanging out. The ones with, it's just disgusting, man. So here's the thing. It's like, to me, it's like, okay, yeah, they're giving us less choices and all this kind of stuff. See, I'm an ambitious guy too. It's like, I'll do the work, but just give me a fair wage and don't treat me like crap. You know?
Yeah, but don't treat me like crap.
Yeah, you don't get that. You don't get that in these jobs. You work for somebody else. They screw you on the bonus. They treat you like shit. You know, forget it. That's why I walked away from that too. And I'm lucky I got this teaching degree. I just said, hell, I'll just teach. And you know what? They demonize these kids. I'm gonna tell you something right now. 99% of kids in school are good kids. I'm gonna tell you right now. I teach. I know. So don't tell me I don't. And I'm in the urban area. You get that 1% goofball. You just have to deal with every now and then. But 99% of them are just awesome, you know. And
I was trying to look at the stats on. They say that the Christians have come out with this whole against the baby mamas and a sort of different concept that males are needed because all these kids are going to go to jail and everything. And that's really not true. That's a hyperbolic statement. Most of the kids that you compare that with the general population and everything, and there's not all that much violence, and the kids. Most kids are good kids unless they get into what's going to happen with most kids is they're gonna get into a situation where an outsider becomes the mentor figure. That's what I always talk about with the gang. It's sort of a gang thing.
Yep.
And those kids are going to become bad.
You get these knuckleheads
but it's not kids without fathers are bad. It's like that. Yeah. That's what they're pushing now, and that's just totally wrong. It's kids that take mentors outside of a caring family unit or a caring mentor unit, where they take the gang as father, or they take and that's what generally happens where it is a gang situation,
predatory gang leader.
Or leader or some kind of some kind of figure that's corrupt out there, and that's what you have to watch out for, a corrupt figure, mentor figure.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Not a father figure. The kids without father figures grow up exactly the same as kids with father figures.
Well, that's that's why male teachers are so important, like in this public school, because
you can take on a teacher, a child like you, and try to emulate them and try to learn some ethics from them and everything. And ethics should be something that's taught at school.
I could tell because I'm like 6'2", big football player looking guy, and they love it when I come in with the men.
They probably respect you too,
right? I wear a nice. See, I don't dress like a lot of the teachers because I'm in a corporate. I came from corporate world working for these big companies, so I come in with like a button-down shirt with slacks and I wear a suit. and I think it's just, and I carry myself well, you know what I mean? And I think that makes a difference. They're like, who's this guy wearing a
Oh,
suit?
yeah.
I
Some of
think
my favorite teachers were more
yeah,
masculine.
yeah, you
And
just
they
kind of
taught
walk
better
in.
too.
Yeah, I walk in and
Or at
I
least
treat
I
them with
was listening
respect.
better.
Yeah, treat them with respect. I try to find common ground and find out what their interests are. And but you're right. That's where I can be a role model for them
You
in a
can be
lot
a
of
role
ways.
model in that and everything.
Right. Instead of that thug, that thug idiot who's wants them to, because a lot of these young kids, they like the young kids to deal the drugs on the streets because they don't get as
Right.
much
Yeah.
jail
That
time.
can happen in a mic that all kids
Yeah,
don't grow up without fathers grow up to be drug dealers. No, you could have a simp father that's a horrible father, a mentor figure. And that's what they're getting more. They're getting more simp fathers.
that's right. That's right.
And
They're getting
simp
bad role
fathers,
models. Bad role models. Yeah, yeah.
they're horrible role models.
Telling them to chase the split V. I mean, we know the split
Yeah.
V is just
But that's not the
like a,
Catholic narrative or the religious narrative. The religious narrative on that is oh, these kids grew up without fathers. They're going to be horrible kids. No, they're not.
no, no, they're not. No, they're not. You're
No, they're
exactly
not.
right.
That's just not true.
That's
There's
absolutely
No,
other.
not
I
true.
think the kids from single mothers are more simps.
The simp thing is because they see simps moving in, simps moving out, and that's all they see with the baby mama. The baby mama, just one girl up her that we noticed. She has had up to, me and my friend have noticed she has had up to 10, 20 guys in that house. And if there was a kid in that situation, and I know a lot of the guys that come to MGTOW, that's what they've seen. They've seen an endless parade of simps coming through their house, and every one of those simps would be like, "You take care of your mama while I'm gone, or else I'll hit you." And that's a
Wow,
horrible
horrible thing to
role
say.
model.
Horrible.
Yeah, and that's the simp mentality. They're always the simps are violent. Simps are PUA simps, and basically MRAs that deal with that and want and like that moving into a ready-made family thing, want to project their masculinity all over the children, and that's a horrible situation for kids to be in. There's the
Or worse if they get abused like in other ways, not just
right.
physically,
They get
but
abused in other ways too. Now that can generate
yeah.
a terror, but it's not the father. It's not that the it's not that the there's not a father there or the because kids in like my other two kids they're being raised by two lesbians and they're fine. They're very good kids.
Mhm.
Is they don't have problems with a lot of things.
What's
But
going on there though? Why did this lesbian couple? Why do they want the children around? Like what are they like?
well,
What is that,
they
security?
still have the paternal instinct to have
Okay.
children and go on. That's
Is
you can't
So
remove.
like to them it enhances their life that they have someone else around, share life with,
Right. They
whatever.
just get a more honest look. If you're honest with that situation, like I was, they don't want you around after, and you don't want to be around after. And that's more of a MGTOW thing. I don't want to be around after and have to take care of you too. And they understood that.
But like you said, you got if you're gonna go that route, and I wouldn't recommend that route. I mean, I know you know that's what situation you
But
did or
it's
whatever.
almost a
To me, it's
perfect
still
MGTOW
risky. To me, it's
situation.
too risky. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind having going that
If
route.
you
But
can come to that
it's too
agreement,
risky.
but you have to come to that agreement. You have to make
Yeah, but
open,
that's a tough
honest.
thing. They could bait and switch to you too, though. So you
Right.
have that bait and switch thing. So I don't. Yeah, I'm very. I've been burned too many times where, but
Right. You have to
because it would be nice because we're talking about legacy, Shining and Master. I'll just say the names, whatever. Who cares? But like they were talking
right,
about
the
legacy.
legacy thing shining and
Yeah, that legacy thing. I think it's an important topic because my initial reaction was they're totally wrong because you
right.
can't you're taking on
If
way too
you're
much
having
risk.
children just for the sake of legacy, then
That's
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 like PUA bullshit.
right,
That's
and that's a huge risk that you're taking.
and you're taking a huge risk. If you well, anytime you're having children, men generally are rational. We think these things through.
Yeah,
Now,
but yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
there's other like I say, there's other situations for MGTOWs. There's surrogacy. There's adoption, or there's like I say the lesbian situations. They need good donors. There's a real understanding in that situation where you're not chasing fatherhood. That's the biggest problem with simping nowadays. Simps always chase fatherhood. It's my what is it, Claire and Jimmy, Claire and Chad thing. That Jimmy's just the only reason Jimmy's in the situation he's in because he's chasing fatherhood. He's chasing his legacy. I mean, you got to put that away as a MGTOW.
Yeah, yeah. That's something I need to explore a little more. That whole DNA thing, spreading your DNA. I mean,
right. There's other ways to do this.
It's because it kind of seems like initially it might seem like they're right, but then you analyze it more. But you're taking a lot of risks. You're changing the whole dynamic of your life. You got another dependent.
Right. When you start analyzing things against the real state of affairs in the world, these things are just what they say. The Christians are what they say are just garbage, and what the legacy thing and the whole MRA view. It's just, it doesn't hold up to fact in this real state of affairs, because this is the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to deal with life the way it is, not this imaginary fantasy fiction land. I always say that. And there's still, if you're participating in chasing that thing, a fatherhood in imaginary fantasy fiction land, you're going to get burnt.
And I guess if you want to pursue that, like you said, to me, it's still too big of a risk with the lesbian thing, but
yeah,
but probably a good risk to take if you want to. If you really,
it's a lower risk, but you have to do the research.
And you got to find someone who's right.
The two females that chose me was they're very highly educated.
Right. There you go. So I was just going to say that you have to find someone who matches your kind of, I guess, intellect or
yeah, we're talking bachelor's degree and master's degree, which
you're talking about someone right. They have resources. In other words, they have resources.
They have resources. They come from families that have resources.
Right.
They made their decisions based on.
Boy, even then, I don't even like that. Even though maybe it's a lower risk, I still don't even like that risk. But at the same time, I can get it if you're in that mindset where I want to leave.
If you're in that mindset, but
yeah,
the best way, the way I would say is there's two other options, and that's 200 miles and a fake ID, or there's surrogacy. Now, surrogacy would be.
Or now it's 2,000. Now it's 2,000 miles, not 200, Joe, with the internet.
Yeah, well, yeah, they can track
zero.
DNA if that happens. But if you're open to that risk, and these things are on a bar. I put these things on a bar of MGTOW abstinence and PUA and simp. The other end of the bar is, let me move my hand over, is simping. So MGTOWs generally float somewhere on that bar. So I always give room for people to.
Yeah, you give them an out. You give yourself an out. You can't.
I give them room
if you want to analyze. Yeah.
So I give like 3 or 4 different situations, but I always err on the side of caution on the MGTOW side.
Yeah. Well, you want to be like I always think about, okay, when let's say I live to 80 or 85, 90, whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm looking back, okay, at that age, what kind of life did I want to create? Like I'm almost working backwards.
Yeah.
Like, so now I'm thinking, okay, well, did I really want to have my DNA spread or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, if that's the case, if that's something that's real important to me, then I think the strategy, the option that you said, the 200 miles fake ID or possible, mating with a lesbian or whatever, like that's something maybe, that you might want to put into play, but just understand there's still risk involved.
Yeah, you got to understand you're working down on that bar where there's risk involved. Anytime you work away from abstinence, you're working into risk.
Right. Exactly right. And then, but the worst risk would be to find a traditional conservative woman or
a traditional conservative, because she's just going to lie to you and leave.
Right. That is uneducated, doesn't have resources, doesn't have. It's not so much that they have resources. It's like what's their potential for resources? Do they have?
When I look at
whatever.
When I look at the statistics on baby mamas and their religious, what they choose religiously, they're all traditional women that have just, after they've had the children, have decided, well, now I want a Chad dick. And it was not for other children. They just want dick.
Now I'm thinking I have to go to lesbian community, trying to find somebody that, because I got, boy, my DNA. Talk about being pretty.
Yeah, that's what I say.
I mean, maybe
Yeah,
I don't think I
pretty.
can show my face because might be teaching soon, and I don't want the
No, women
student
look at
stops
different
me.
things. The whole PUA thing is women look at like if they were looking at a male my age, they would look, does he have all his teeth? Yes. Does he have
Well,
his hair? Yes. Is he a large male?
you want to hear
Yes.
something funny? I'll tell you something super funny. It's really, my sister calls me one day. This is like 20 years ago. You know, I was a lot sharper looking then. She goes, you know, you look like Ben Affleck. I'm like,
Oh,
who's that? I go,
good
who?
one.
She goes, who? She
Ben
goes, yeah,
Affleck.
you look like Ben Affleck. I'm like, oh God.
I'm
Why is
trying
she
to think what you
First of all,
look
why are
like.
you telling me this? And not that I don't even think
Yeah,
Ben
you do
Affleck's
sort of.
that
Yeah, you
he's not.
do.
I mean, he's not Matthew McConaughey, but you know, but yeah, I just thought that was kind of weird. And it's like, you know, hey, listen, I'm like you, Joe. I'm very pretty. So it's like, I was like, that DNA. I don't want that DNA to go to waste. And I'm a 6'2", big guy. My father was like a hard worker, so I got like really, and I'm educated, you know, like you. And so it's like, damn, I want to pass that DNA. So I don't know, maybe. But to me, it's like the risk is like,
The risk involved. No,
yeah, I know there's
you
risk
still
involved
have
in
time to do
cocksucker.
surrogacy too. You can have
Yeah.
you can get a surrogate, and then all the papers are transferred to you. You're the official parent on paper.
Yeah.
That would be what, I don't know how much that would cost nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, you could cut
Yeah.
costs on that by doing the paperwork yourself,
Yeah.
and not
Yeah.
involving lawyers in it, and finding a surrogate that's willing to do like what you call Moses laws. He's the parent, I'm not, and she just gives the baby. You are the only one on the birth certificate.
Yeah. But
And
you got
that's
how long you think you should know that person and vet them out though? That lesbian or whatever you want to.
Oh, well, I'd always liked hanging around with them because they're just fun. They're fun people, and then you get to learn why you hang around with them. And there wasn't, at first, there was really no sexual relationship. There was just like, they came to me one day and said, we want to have kids, and since you're our best friend or whatever, then could you kind of do it?
Take one for the team.
Yeah, take one for the team. And I
sure.
took one for the team.
I mean,
but
it's interesting idea. It's an interesting
you have
idea.
to know the person you're friends with.
Oh yeah, they better be educated. They better have.
And they're fun people. They were educated people. They were
them well.
Okay to be around. They never yelled at me.
Yeah. I mean, because it is something I think about. Go ahead. Sorry, tell me about your experiences.
Yeah, they didn't do that subjugation thing where I was always a lesser person. I think that would be important to look at if you're looking at that. Like if someone's subjugating you to like the male, you're a lesser male. You're always there's nothing you can do to no, they were always supportive and say, you did a good job there, Joe, and that stuff. That's important. That's on the other end of that subjugation spectrum.
Yeah. That's the thing about MGTOW. Like we are the most progressive group out there because even though our position is asexuality for sure, but
our position is asexuality, yes.
But we can be creative and come up with an idea that there's someone that really had it in their heart to have children,
right?
So now we'll say, hey, there's an out. Here's an out for you. Here's an out that's going to be less risky. Now you're still taking on risk. Don't be a sucker.
Right.
You're still taking on risk because it could happen where she could come back and say, hey, you're the father, blah, 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 blah. So just understand there's risk, but that's the least risky option.
Right. There are other options. And I say keep open-minded to the way you think too, how you see things in life. If you have a female friend that you've just been friends with all your life and she really doesn't have a lot of options, but she wants to have a baby, you can discuss it with her.
Right. So, yeah, no, you're right. Like these people, like I've known, people you went to school with and you've known 20, 30 years, and you see them and.
Yeah, we all have friends.
Their character. Yeah, you have
they're females that we don't have no problem with.
Yeah.
They're either drinking buddies or just friends. There's at least 3-4 girls that I've known since I was 2 feet high. They have no sexual interest in me and them kind of capacities, but when we see each other, we hug and hi, how you doing? It's like and things are great and we support each other.
Yeah. Well,
simps don't seem to have those kind of friends, and that's always bothered me. Like, don't you have a friend that's a female that
Yeah.
you just kind of hang around with, and
Yeah.
you go get pizza and beer and shit, and you don't have to screw her?
Well, I do, and she wants to screw me. But
Yeah, I
she's
think that's
like,
weird when people are like that, because I have a lot of friends that I just, hey, what's up?
yeah,
You don't have
yeah,
to automatically start groping each other.
well, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. I have, yeah, and they're nice looking chicks, like educated,
Yeah. Well,
you know.
yeah, that's important.
But
Educated.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to get into it with them, you know. Like I didn't. They get mad too, like like when I don't return their calls, or.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
But
It's like,
you
yeah,
know,
I
you got
do
to
have
find.
friends that like want to do that, and it's like them are the when it gets that's when it
Well,
gets edgy. It gets like you're always like, oh, I don't want to do it with you, and
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want to be baby daddy number two.
Right, right. Well, that's yeah. A lot of times, yeah.
Now, male abortion, like financial abortion, I don't know what you would call it to make it sound better. Like male opting out, we just call it opting out of fatherhood. If males were able to opt out of fatherhood, I think that would promote a better situation with females and create a more honest. Like you'd it would sort of make males and females discuss in the gender dynamics roles. It would make females and males discuss these things. And you can have a contractual situation if you wanted to be a traditional male, and you can have a contractual situation if you just wanted to opt out. That's a more honest approach to this thing.
Yeah.
Yes, but what I read last week was that of the black people and the black women and 80% of the baby mamas,
Yeah.
80% of the men pregnate 80% of the women.
80% of the men.
80%, 18%
Yeah,
gets 18 to from 18 to 80.
from 18%.
Yeah, 18% of the men,
Oh.
black men, pregnate 90, and 80% of the black women.
Yeah, that's
Single mamas.
I think in their culture, there's a lot more of the 80-20 rule. But I never believed in the 80-20 rule. I don't know how you would go about methodologically proving that.
No, I'm not. I find it weird.
Yeah, I find it weird or strange because I do know there's men and women all have different concepts of what beauty is. And I know what beauty is in the mind. Beauty is the mind looking at the mind and asking it what it likes. And how people like different things. Even women, they're like men. Men like different things. Some men like heavy women. Some men like tall women. Some men like short. Some men like women. Men like different things in women. They like small women, medium-sized women. And that's the same as for women. We think that all women are looking for a certain. We think as males that way that all women are looking for this certain archetype male, but really that's not true when you're talking about beauty. What a person perceives as beautiful is quite different in all situations. Now they seem to skip over that in their methodology. They say they use different wording, which is inconsistent with logic. They use alpha male and stuff like that. That's not even a proof. So you're double. It's like a double screw on those when you start even trying to do any little bit of methodology on that. No. Just weird to me. There's like something smells wrong with it.
Yes, but that was YouTube of what's his name, Kevin Samuels.
Yeah,
He's a black man, and he's talking about black women every time.
right. And he was probably saying about the 80-20 rule.
No, he's not about that. He was talking about that 80% of the single mamas get pregnant by 18% of men.
18% or 80%?
80% of men pregnate 80% of women in the black community.
That seems really high. That seems off. It's almost like
That
they're
was
demonizing black men.
that was this is what
Yeah.
he said at his YouTube. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah, Kevin Samuels. I don't think he. Yeah, I watched a video yesterday with him. I mean, he's a smart guy. I think he's smart, but he might be. He said 80% of men rape. Say it again. Sorry.
80% of the black men pregnate 80% of the women.
Yeah, he's saying 18%.
Yeah.
80%. Wait, 80% of the black men
to 80.
Impregnate 80% of the black women?
$18 to $80.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Wait, say that again. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not following it. Sorry.
Yeah, instead of an 80-20 rule, he said he's saying 2% of the males are unmateable.
Yeah. No. They the single mamas, who will bring the kids.
Yeah, or
80%
2%
of the men pregnate 80% of the women.
Yeah. And I find that to be remarkably like the 80-20 rule, and I find that to be highly unbelievable. In most cases, I don't believe in the 80-20 rule because I do know that would have put me out because I don't believe that I don't believe that I'm even close to being the top 20% of a male. And I never really had any problems with that. With if I stuck in, and I do believe there's this thing where you stick in your class. I mean, that's what I tell incels all the time. Like if you're looking for a woman that's a 10, you're not going to find one because you're not a 10.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a 7 or a 6, and that's fine, and you can look for a 7 or a 6, but you'll be more successful just by it, and that's doing that deep introspection. Say, what am I? What am I? What do I attract?
Yeah, that's what.
That's totally losing in these days. They lost it.
Yeah, they've lost it. Like Hoka thinks he's going to get a 10, and he's, if he's putting his sight on 10s, that's not going to happen. Now Hoka's a very handsome man, and I think if he just put his sight on a 7 or a 6, which are very attractive, he would do well.
I mean, if Hoka was like 6'3", 6'1", 6'2", yeah, he'd be a 10. Like because
if he was
running marathon, when he was running marathons,
he runs marathon. He's very healthy, and that
and he's smart, but he's a manipulator, but he's smart.
Yeah. So he doesn't fall in but I don't believe that there's any circumstance in this world that he can't find if that's what he's saying, that he can't find a woman.
Yeah.
And in that ideology,
well, when he walked Lake Erie, he pretty much set the bar. So
I mean, if he just shows that picture and takes that picture to the bar with him, and he's like, I walked over Lake Erie, and they'll be like, geez, how can I find a better male than that?
He's got the magical DNA, dude.
He's got the magical DNA.
Right. And he's got the coolest last name probably ever, Hoka. I mean, shit. Is there a better black, is it Hoka? I mean, it's just Hoka. It's like one syllable. It's perfect.
Yeah. Hoka. He's just the Hoka. The Hoka.
He remembers more about Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with this whole DNA thing, men are kind of dense when it comes to, because you don't just look at a woman's physical features. You got to look at their intellect. I would say look at their intellect first.
And I made that decision. Everybody goes that, the female, she's cryptic. She makes all the decisions. No, she doesn't. I made that decision. I looked at the female and I said, these females would be good because what happened? I looked at my deficiencies.
Right. I was. I remember when I was 27. That was pretty much my prime, like 27, 28, or 29. And I seen this woman. She was like 5'10", real mild manner, like Irish woman, like built like incredibly built well, really calm. Because I'm like more, not that I'm hyper, I'm just very enthusiastic, passionate, Italian, whatever, And I was like, yeah. I go, that's the one. That's the one. And I was like, that's the one I want to make with. And like, I
Yeah,
didn't
there were
pursue
certain
it for whatever reason,
qualities
but
that maybe
yeah,
they weren't
yeah.
attractive qualities, but there were
She
certain qualities
she was
that,
built really well. She was 5'10", built well, but the
yeah,
thing I liked about her was she was very like calm and not very like
that's an important one.
and she
Yeah,
looked at me and I looked at her and it's like, yeah, we probably should try to do something here,
we
and
should probably just have a child and you just leave.
yeah, but it was that part I guess I didn't pursue, but which I'm happy I didn't because MGTOW's better. But yeah, no, but it's interesting you said that because I think it's very true. I think you're right. I think you're
True.
absolutely right.
Men make a lot of that decision. Even
Right.
I mean, if you're just out there looking, some of the women that I've turned down were very beautiful, but there was just something that said this is not going to work with my DNA.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just nothing here improves the chances of having better children.
Yeah. 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 You're right. You kind of instinctively know.
And a lot of things are the personality. Personality is very important. Look at our
Yeah. Yeah.
50% of our personality is from our DNA. And the
How
other
much?
50% of your personality is from your DNA.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other things and the way you are raised, the things that you are enlightened to, or your IQ, those things all make up the rest of the DNA. But 50% is DNA, and men look at that very intently.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. All humans look at that very intently because that's a big decision. If you see a woman that's you think she's slightly off or retarded, like Juliette Lewis.
Yeah. Right.
Like,
Right. You would never want any male in the right mind would never want to mate with Juliette Lewis or Sarah Jessica Parker.
And a lot of those girls have that slightly, but she would be looking at a male that I'm looking for a male that would fix that thing for the children.
Right. God, she's ugly. And Sarah Jessica Parker, I don't know who's uglier out of those two. But there's some men that are like, what are you talking about? Look how hot they are.
Yeah, some men and that's where I say that the 82 appears.
Yeah, I don't see it. I just see
different things, and some women like different things. We're all looking for different qualities.
Right. I like taller women that are, have a little, not too much weight.
Do you know there's 29 different? Was it 29 or 34? You can check me on this. I said it the other day. There's 34 other personality indicators other than the top 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's 35. Okay. Yeah, the top 5 are what? Like, what are the top ones?
There's extroversion and introversion, and there's the top 5 are oh god, no, I got to go over the top 5. There's extroversion, introversion, there's aggression, there's neuroticism, there's the opposite of neuroticism is I can't remember all top 5 personality traits, but there's 29 more that people look at. Like I said, when you walk in a crowd and you examine people and you realize that people are the same as you, that's a personality trait.
Yeah.
It's called, I can't remember what it's called, but you can check it, and you can check on all the 34, and then you can see, oh yeah, that's a personality trait. That's a personality trait. We have names for them all, but most people don't really delve that deep into personality.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I had time to go over it and do personality trait, I can come up with all the keywords and everything, but I didn't really look at it before this particular cast. We can do that someday if you want to go over all the personality traits.
Yeah,
it would be interesting to go over and how MGTOW personality traits align to all the 34. If that's right. I said it the other day in a podcast because it just came on. I looked at it, But yeah, there's the top 5, and then after that, but you have to be a very shallow person only to look at 5 positions of personality.
Yeah. To me, I look at intelligence number one for, and then, well, I would say also like self-control.
Yeah.
Someone
Yeah, self-control. Self-control is
calm,
a big one. Self-control and
calmness. Yeah, calmness. I don't like the
calmness.
Yeah, what would that be? Emotional intelligence? I don't know what you would call it.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotional intelligence, personality traits. There's it's how you perceive the world, and is big. Them things have to match up too, and
Yeah. What? Yeah. I don't know. I look at the women today. They amuse me. They're like, I don't know. They're like amusing. Just
Now, a
amusing.
certain thing of MGTOW is also less aggressive.
less aggressive. Yeah, I think we are.
I used to be. I was very aggressive
We're more liberal.
when I was a blue pilled.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, the top 5 is openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeability, neuroticism, and universality. I'm not really familiar with, and uh, influential factors, which I don't think is, but there's a lot. The top 5 are just honesty, openness, conscientiousness, extroversion to introversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. And I think neuroticism is directly in conflict with extroversion.
Okay.
I mean, we've just kind of breached the. I read a lot of books on these things, and we've just kind of breached the science, the biology of personality.
Yeah.
And they're talking about it a lot more and everything. I do think it's important for people to learn these things, and
It's kind of sad. I was talking to someone recently about like, because they have aspirations of having a family and all this kind of stuff, but the government just got too. They just empower these women too much. It's like you can't do it. You can't take that risk. It's just and
right.
what percentages of marriages are really happy? 5% or less. I mean, it's just insane.
Yeah.
And then but the whole thing is like it's just real disappointing because you have this dream of doing things, and then you just realize, like I'm going through it now with my sisters in a court case with a property, and it's like, you know what? I finally just after 10 years I just gave up. It's because it's too much stress. It's too much stress dealing with these women.
Yeah,
but the courts are they're always going to back the woman. They're always
right.
you're just that's just you can't overcome that because you're going to face jail time. You're going to face whatever. Yeah. You're looking at jail time. You're looking at.
Let me add red pill in the wind.
Yeah, still same person.
Yeah,
still the same person.
How's it going, Red Pill?
Okay. Red pill in the wind. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, still same person, still MGTOW.
Still MGTOW, yeah.
I just had to drop the acronym.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm just basically watching and hold the tail. This is your cat.
I think I heard you were on the stream last time, I think, with us.
Yeah. Like I said, I got fed up with what some of the people some people are letting into the manosphere, and it's like, you know what? It just pisses me off. It's like I hate to do this, but it's like it's some of these people just wow. It's just pisses me.
The man up people. They're trying to make there's a lot of entryism into MGTOW, and well, basically, I think the whole the other percentage of people out there which come into contact with MGTOW, they want to change MGTOW to what they believe in, and so we get back in the norm, what they believe is the norm. So there's going to be a lot of entryism and people trying to influence us.
The thing is, I'm not gonna sit here and let somebody point a loaded gun in my head and tell me, and tell me that I need to man up, and no, it's not happening.
No, it's not going to happen. I'm not a slave, and that's the first thing I always say when, like, if you're looking at me like a slave, I'm not that.
Right. Like my ancestors, some of half the ancestors on one side of my family had to deal with that.
Yeah.
I ain't doing with that.
Yeah, me Irish people, we dealt with that too, and it's like, no, we're not them kind of people. I fight against the smallest nation in the world fought against one of the biggest nations in the world for one reason, because we ain't their fucking slaves.
Exactly. Exactly, and that was before gunpowder.
Yeah, there was the Irish Revolution of 1916. Even in 1916, they were trying to push that on us, and we're like, no, fuck that.
How'd that work out?
Worked out pretty good for us. We beat ass.
Not well for them.
Yeah, it didn't work out well for them. They only got the northern portion of our country,
which says a lot.
Yeah.
And like for me, I mean, I just got sick and tired of like some of the people they let into, like, come on, really? This person came in. First off, he came in with this person came in with above the scrum heap levels. I don't know if you know what the scrum heap level is, right?
Is that I can't remember the acronym for that.
The below side, the sub 1,000 level. I mean, scrum heap section of YouTube.
Yeah.
I call it the scrum heap because I call myself the scrum heap section because I'm below 1,000, below something that's that basically resembles anything.
Okay.
But I was caught one of your live stream and you figured about MRA and men homelessness.
Right.
And for me, it's like my understanding is like I didn't start seeing women being homeless until after I started driving for about 2-3 years. And I'm like, I don't know how you're homeless, lady. You've got support.
Yeah.
You've got all these programs for you.
Yeah, I think the only reason a female would be homeless would be mental illness.
Exactly. And that when I was in Florida, my first time, this chick had sunburned, and I felt as a red pill, you can feel part of your nature.
Right.
You can feel that nature, that support of nature, wanting to help because the person had sunburned, and I had a first aid kit in my truck. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, but then I really thought about it, and I literally said, look, let's see what the MGTOW red pill section says of it. Says about it. Nope, let her piss.
Let her go. Yeah, you could be Captain Save-A-Ho, but the Captain Save-A-Ho, there's a lot of consequences to that, and that's usually what gets us in trouble is our altruistic nature. We talk about this all the time. That's a part of your personality that's been developed over a million years. Is men jump up when they see a female or a child in trouble. That's one thing you have to get under control. And I would swear I still have problems with that today. Sometimes, I go up to we only have one shopping mall area in this town. And sometimes there'll be a woman getting her ass kicked. And my first response is and then I go, oh, no, not worth getting into it. I have to do a double take on what I'm doing sometimes because my biology kicks in, then my brain kicks in.
I mean, it takes a while. It takes training, a lot of training, mental training to say, like, look, I've got to stop doing this. This is not helping myself. This is putting myself in danger.
Yeah, now we do it and we describe it in that kind of manner, but it's going to come in different sorts of looks that the male altruism Captain Save-A-Ho thing is going to come, or the white knight, is going to come in a million different, just micro looks, which you got to do too. And we can't sit here and explain every single one of them, how it's going to come out to you, but you just put like self-defense is sort of in here. Is like you gotta, and usually it's just stop, think about this.
Yep. Stop and think.
Stop and think.
They also know as a military that military loves acronyms.
Stop
And think.
Stop and think. Yeah, it's just set for a second. It's like, yeah,
set for a second.
Right. We see this a lot with, we talked about it last time with the strippers. Strippers will play, they do the oofy doofy really good, where they play the wounded bird. And next thing you know, your wallet's gone.
Exactly.
And they play on that instinct, that got the Captain Save-All instinct of ours.
Prostitutes do the same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
at least they're a little bit more honest. And which basically brings up my point. There are no traditional women.
There's no more that tradition is over. It's been replaced by this.
There never was a traditional woman.
Yeah, it's
generational.
Cryptist, and the predatory female is always going to be the predatory female, and you can get into situations where that will last a few years, or even 10 years or 15 years, but eventually it's going to end when she starts looking out at her options, and her options change, and you're not involved with it. I mean, that's sort of anti-traditionalism. That's why traditionalism is such a big lie.
Exactly.
Because biology rules that thing. I mean,
but for me, it's like I'm crazy, not stupid. You know?
Yeah, I'm crazy, not stupid. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Sometimes I was looking at that at one point. It's like some people think that crazy people are stupid. They're not stupid. Sometimes they're right about something, but they get
I always pray that I'm not right. You know.
Well, I've seen it in a Law and Order. They went to this house, and these people were stealing money from the government, and there was through artwork or something, and there was this guy that he said he had schizophrenia, and he was looking at this picture, and he said something really interesting, and the two guys in this Law and Order thing, there's the one guy says. He says, "No, don't listen to him. He got schizophrenia." And the other guy says, "Hey, it doesn't mean he's not telling the truth."
Exactly.
I mean, sometimes we bias our opinions and our ears to things, and there could be someone saying exactly the truth, and you're just looking at him going, "No, that guy can't tell the truth."
And that might be the most truthful person you'll ever meet in your entire life.
The most truthful person in the street that day.
Yep. And for me, it's like there's been times when I've warned people and they didn't listen. Look where they're at. They're in jail.
Yeah.
Or they're on child support. They're on alimony. Or they got accused of an ex-wife or
Yeah.
And they want me to join them.
They want you to join them. Yeah, I just had a friend. He took on a baby mama this year, and I was like, "Don't do that! Don't do that! Don't do that!" Yeah, but he needed to do it.
I just a couple Octobers ago. I mean, it was not last October, but the previous one in 2019. I told this dude, "Look, man, you're taking on a single mother, right?
Yeah.
And look, she gonna cheat on you. She really is gonna cheat on you."
She is,
but because he was raised by a single mother,
yeah,
he up here defended her. I'm like, okay. And all I did was like, look, man, I'm gonna tell you this. Don't do this for me. I don't care if you do this for me, but do this for yourself. Come in one day. Come home one day.
Early.
Unannounced. Yeah. Like unannounced. Don't get an Uber. If you, like I said, don't let her know that you're coming home. Come home one day. Go up to the bed quietly, get in the house, go up to the bedroom and see. But I'm going to tell you this one. Don't lose your cool. Don't get mad because that's what she wants you to do. That's what she wants you to do. Don't get violent. Child, take her and her kid and leave.
Yeah, the baby mama thing's very defined. I mean, she wants 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you're 1 or 2, the next guy is going to come along, and you were just borrowing that, or what do they say? You were just
it's just your turn.
Yeah, it was just your turn, but that turn's going to end.
Exactly.
And,
I call it.
And then she is always in tune with the Health and Human Service Department.
Exactly.
She could, I've seen guys signing their name on that birth certificate. I'm like, don't do that. That just plays in the, well, that's my Jimmy Sue and Chad analogy, where Jimmy's chasing fatherhood, and he's going to get exactly what he wants, and that's 2/3 of his pay is going to be going to Uncle Sam and her.
Yeah. And I called him back about a year later and he said I was right.
How's that going now? Yeah, you're right. He slipped it in there for a little bit, and
yeah, he gave it an admirable try.
Yeah, but hey, when we give these stats, 86% of marriages between 20 and 32 will end up in divorce. We're not lying. And then it goes up from there. Number 2, number 3, and number 4 after that. And these guys are just like, they believe these 50-50 analogies or some 20%.
These women have zero ability to pair bond by the age.
They have zero ability to pair bond. That sexual crypsis is their nature.
Yeah. and with the government allowing this education in schools, the age drops significantly. You're going from 11 to 16 inability to 5.
Yeah, I see a lot of young men before they even turn 18 years old, like 17, 16, 15, even 14, 13-year-old boys forced into those situations and being called fathers. No, first of all, they don't have the right to make that decision until they're out of the teens, 19, 20. They don't have a right to make that decision, and having it forced on them is just totally wrong. But our government will stand by and say, well, when he turns 21, he's going to be forced baby daddy number 2.
Yeah.
And you have to pay, and they make you make up for what you didn't pay.
Exactly. So what's the point of working at that point? You're going to get.
A lot of guys will go to the system, the other system beneath the real system, which is I get a skill and I'll just work off the books.
Exactly. I work off the books, and it's like these people don't like. So these it's just going to get real bad real soon. And it's going to get, and everybody's going to be inundated, and it's going to be inundation.
Yeah.
On a scale that.
Now, I wish men would get more attuned to the idea of working out the books, where we start making products and selling them to each other. That was the trade system that we came up with. A trade system back in 2001 or 2, where MGTOW started trading with each other.
We got too many emotional men that were raised by single mothers.
Right, that can't figure out those skills and everything. But that's a lack of mentorship to figure out those skills. If we started making our own products and selling them within the manosphere, and worked off the books, man, we would disrupt the whole system.
Exactly.
That's what we need to do. But
we disrupt the problem. There's a problem that comes with. They're not afraid to burn down on a second Wall Street. That's for daggone sure.
Yeah, and Wall Street is the problem for men right now. We talked about that earlier in the thing, the work situations, and nowadays is if they're not going to be fair with us, then we don't no longer need to be fair with them.
Exactly. The problem is not everybody's in the same page, let alone the same book.
Not let alone today. That's what MGTOW should be focused on, getting all the men in the manosphere on the same page with work and financial things, and how to create businesses and off the books.
Hurting wet, angry cats. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, we're hurting angry cats, and that's an impossibility sometimes. And that's where all the, some of these guys don't even think about things like that, and it tells on them a lot. It's like,
right.
You're trying to tell me you're a MGTOW and you don't think you have no life experience where you can't see yourself having to do some of these things once in a while after. So it's like,
I mean, I'm looking at shirts being sold like MGTOW shirts, and I'm like online.
Yeah, survival instinct should kick in for men.
Survival instinct should kick in, and next I'm looking at MGTOW rings.
Yeah, MGTOW rings, or if you can market something to the MGTOW. I always thought like tools, tools.
Yep.
How are you going to do a job if you don't have tools? The more
I have
tools,
no idea.
Yeah, the more tools you have, the more work you can get off the books.
Okay, I got tools. I got tools for the trucking industry. I got a pry bar. I got a hammer.
Yeah.
I just got me a tire patching or tire plug kit.
Yeah, and that's where hobbies come into too. And me and Joey talk about this all. You have a hobby, okay, and then all of a sudden you're living in a house with 3 other guys. If you have hobbies that match, guess what that's called? That's called a business.
Exactly.
But we don't talk about this in MGTOW. But it's coming to with the rate of rent now and the rich people just taking over all the properties and everything. We're going to have to deal with that and start competing with what they're doing, and that's making products. Sooner or later, men are going to have to start thinking about this. Small companies.
And it's like they're doing it to get to corral us,
Yeah, well, what they do is this form of Burgess individualism where every guy thinks that he's going to be he's going to be the next Facebook guy, or he's going to be no, you're not. Sometimes you need help, and getting a group of friends, like a group of MGTOW friends, that's where you're going to find your relief. That's where you're going to find your business. That's where you're going to find your Burgess individualism. There's a difference between individualism of personality and character and individualistic people. Individualistic people are horrible to be around.
Exactly.
And I don't think a lot of the MGTOWs talk about that. When I listen to the MGTOW lights, the Sandmans and everything, they're always talking about this Burgess individualism that's individualistic. Like, you got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You got to do this by yourself. No. What you're looking for is what we have here, 4 MGTOWs that think alike.
Exactly. You basically been pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. That has gotten you knocked right back down again.
Yeah, it will get you nothing.
Knocked down has gotten you. Look, all it has done is got you knocked down multiple times. So what is the point in trying to pull yourself up by your bootstraps if somebody outside of your social circle is going to knock you down again?
Right. Yeah, that's the ostracization. I've been divorced. I've had my credit just ruined and everything. A guy like me with as many skills as I have, I can't get the loans. I dream of having a group of men around here that I could work with, but that's, today's Burgess individualism just ruins that for, how are we going to compete with Kmart? How are we going to compete with the Walmarts and the Targets and everything? We're not.
No,
if we don't get this together. We're not going to compete, and you're going to always end up a slave to that organization, and you're not going to get in. They're not letting me in.
Basically, it's a bourgeoisie party, and you're not invited.
I'm not invited. I tried to break through that wall at one point, but then I found out I was just a poor Irish kid from Cleveland. I wasn't invited.
Like I said, they don't realize that they will never be invited. The best thing would be to do is to basically take it out of their pockets.
Right. You have to think about how to take it out of their pockets. How are you going to do that? You're going to need to find 1, 2, 3, 4 guys, just like in this room, and with numbers is force.
They've got advertisement. They've got They've got so many things they've got to work against us. They've got
Right.
advertisement. They've got the rest of the general population who still don't understand what little of it's left. And first off, they also have business rapport.
Right.
Now, in my eyes, for business rapport, when you sell some subpar products,
right.
And nobody's, the thing is, it means that nobody's able to challenge that business because they don't have to sell quality products anymore.
Yeah, they don't have to. The rule of the land used to be for every bad review you got, you lost 14 customers. For every good review you got, you're going to gain 14 customers. You're gonna need to get good reviews to gain customers.
Exactly.
But
a lot of people are not. We're so brainwashed by society not to do the research ourselves.
Right. Yeah.
But you see how quick, if you get a bad review at Walmart, you see how quick the CEO or somebody is trying to rectify it.
Yeah.
Right. We need to be like that.
You need to be proactive in your interest. How can I make this better? How can I make this good? How can I get your review up to, it's like an Uber card. How can I get your review up to a 5-star?
Exactly.
And you could do that. But there's corporations that what they call is anti-slap laws. There's corporations that just go around slapping everything and they'll knock the little guy out of business and they do it on the threads they hire companies just to run around saying this company's bad, this company's bad, this company bad, because every time they do that it increases the size of their territory. But that's what we get in MGTOW. That's what we were talking about. We'll regress back to, as long as we have guys running around slapping each other, this is never gonna work. And that's male nature. But it's not really male nature. They've tapped into the system has tapped into one of our reactions, and one of our reactions is this thing that we do when we tournament against each other. MGTOW should wake up and start. Okay, we all have to get along to a certain extent, and start working together, or that entryism. They're gonna. The Health and Human Service people have billions of dollars where they pay these man up groups to we've just seen it with MGTOW Dictionary. He's a paid man up group that's getting money from certain entities that are anti MGTOW. I mean, they'll pay them to do that just because they're afraid of us. We have garnished their attention and they're afraid of us.
I mean, what happens if they can't get any, if they run out of people to get the ban up groups?
Right. And that's why we always say there is a MGTOW. When you see a MGTOW, you know a MGTOW, and we should all get used to knowing what a MGTOW. He's anti-traditional. He's anti-conservative. He's anti-marriage. He's pretty much anti-fatherhood. He doesn't want to have babies. He's anti. When they start veering from these things and start talking that silly crap, like the PUA is probably, they get tons of money. I look at this group
they get money off of not only lawyers,
right? Lawyers.
They get money off of the super chats and the lawyers saying,
they feed through their super chats, but that money probably stems out from Health and Human Services, which want all men to just man up and pay their child support. There's programs that there's programs running against us, and especially the Catholic and the Protestant and the Baptist programs, those religious programs. Those programs come around MGTOW and they want to destroy us.
I want to do a business analysis of the church.
Yeah.
Business analysis of the church. Where do the churches get most of their money from? Married couples and women who are basically in a church. So basically, how do they get that money? They get the man goes out, works his job, has a little bit of extra throwaway money that he's going to was saving for his boat, and he goes to church. The collection plate goes around, and there goes his boat money. Gives straight to the pastor.
Right.
Oh, better yet, the weddings. The weddings. How much is a normal wedding a traditional wedding cost?
$30,000.
For a so-called traditional woman, $80,000.
Yeah, those people hate
$100,000
us.
plus.
Yeah.
So that's where they make their money. The pastor goes out and blesses the rings, and basically none of it gets put back into the community. It all gets back to the pastor and the church.
That goes what his social interests are, and he'll delegate that money. If he finds about MGTOW, and he finds that MGTOW's anti-Christian, which we are,
Anti-Christian, anti-Jewish, anti-Muslim, anti-whatever.
He's going to put money into that. We see a lot of it. There's in my time in MGTOW, I've seen so many groups come around and try to convince us that the traditional conservatism is the way to go. And even with this latest Trumpism thing, that's just traditional conservatism coming at MGTOW and those people.
Yeah, and it's like if it's if a person, if they can't get the person to comply with with the church, I mean, first off, the church runs everything.
Right.
The church runs everything.
We'll just call it religion in general.
Yeah, I mean, religion in general. They find out that they're anti their religion or anti this religion, that religion.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to fight. They're going to try to fight back. They're going to take whatever resources they can to keep us from growing. Because look at the Roman Catholics early on. Before they were fighting people with swords and barbarians trying to keep things alive, but now that they see the things that they kept the masses illiterate. They kept the public illiterate. And when you keep the public illiterate, what do you think has happened? They believe everything you say. They believe that if they let your daughters, your wives sleep with the bishop, with the archbishop, the pope, whatever, it's a holy deal. It's a holy deal. And
anytime you see a group running around there that's anti-education, you just tag it up as conservatism and traditional conservatism and say those people are just trying to they want you dumbed down to be a slave.
They don't have to be dumb. They don't have to be anti-education to dumb you down. All they got to do is just basically and they're doing it, and they've been doing it for years. Disrupt the teachings of of an actual family. They've been doing it for years. Disrupt any teachings that the family has. Look at Common Core math. Common Core math is nothing more to disrupt the teachings of the parents.
Well, it depends on what you're teaching too. It's like
exactly the deletion of history. The deletions of history is all it is basically making sure that these people don't learn from their history. Don't learn not to do the same things over again. That's all it is. The social studies that
so they don't want people thinking outside of the box or thinking, this marriage thing's a bad deal. The first thing, it's like they want people believing what they say.
Right. Well, man, why do they want people to think outside the box? They don't want them. Also, they don't want people to leave.
They don't want people to leave either. Yeah, that's one of my favorite sayings is
they don't want people.
It's not that I don't believe in God. It's just that I don't believe in all of his asshole followers.
Exactly. They don't want people to leave. They don't want people to leave the church, the synagogue, the temple, the mosque, the country. They don't want people to be a citizen within themselves. They don't want people to find out about these ways that they could be sovereign citizens of the world. They don't want people to find out the way. They don't want people to leave the country now, because if they leave the country, that means that they don't have a GDP anymore. They don't have a government spending. They don't have a budget. They don't have a person that pays taxes. They don't have a person that works traditional jobs.
Right.
But if you basically you denounce citizens from one country, you better have you have a choice. I can do this and be freaking live off the land
Right, in
of the world.
every country on the face of the planet, you need 20 to 30% people. You can call them the working class. I call them the slaves.
Mm-hmm.
You need 20 to 30% slaves for that company, and you can call it by any other name you want, but it's just these are the working class. These are the slaves.
Right.
And once you get attuned to that idea, I don't want to be one of those people.
I want to do whatever I can. Like I said, and I said this before. Anything you do is not for you. It's for it's for if you were to have children, and actually your children were to actually make it to adulthood with you actually able to teach them, and they follow your teachings to a T.
You know what's I want to say hey everybody, and I'm happy I made it in here.
Hey, Blackwood. How you doing?
Right. I'm doing pretty good. I've been listening to what you guys have been saying, and Red Pill to Win is right. They're making it very difficult for anyone to live off the land, and even those who currently do that, it's even more difficult because they want to keep people in the ant colony or the beehive, so to speak. And you're right, like you can call it whatever you want. They don't want people to defect from this. I've been telling people for years to become preppers, and in the past, people are like, "Oh, don't listen to him; he's crazy or whatnot." And all this shit's happening. They go, "Oh man, Black Wolf might have had a point." Yes, get the fuck out of there. That's not a place that you want to be, especially if something bad happens, because all it's going to take is a meat shortage, and then all hell is going to break loose.
Right.
Exactly. I got fishing line, and I'm looking for a crossbow. Look for a good price for a crossbow or a bow and arrow.
I mean, yeah, it's never too late, man. I had a friend that picked up books about trapping. He's never, caught a rabbit before. So he got all these books about how to, trap and skin animals and everything. And to
But
those
you have
watching,
to be a responsible trapper.
True. You have to be responsible for it. I mean, thankfully I've had a lot of practice in, but it's never too late, for anyone watching this to learn, because these skills are going to be very useful, even if you have to use technology or whatever. Just do what you have to do, regardless of age or anything, to get out of these places.
I don't know how many times I've been out hunting and I wander upon the bones of a dead animal stuck in a trap.
Like I said, the funny thing about it is the government actually sees sees the influx of people researching this stuff, and it makes them think that wait a minute. It at least makes them think that maybe we shouldn't be doing the stuff that we're doing. They have everybody's, even if you put it in incognito mode, they have everybody's search history. I don't even bother with incognito mode.
The point of MGTOW and the point of the MRA and everything is to scare these people back into a situation where the social contract does exist anymore. It does. Right now, the social contract doesn't exist anymore. The rich have taken over. But the only way to do it is if MGTOW, I was listening to a Terrence Popp video, and he was like, "Oh, these people," and I said, "Isn't that the point? The point of MGTOW is to make them people fear."
This is, why why the queen of an ant colony or bee colony remains the queen, because she releases pheromones to keep the subjects.
Right, pheromones. Yeah.
You know why? Where's the queen in the human colony?
Yeah. You know why men simp? Because of pheromones.
Exactly. Because we haven't yet, but we're the bastard redheaded ants. We're the bastard redheaded ants of the colony. And it's like I said, we look at the we don't, like I said, we don't got queens. They have all, like I said, we know that women outnumber us. We know that. I mean, we know full well women outnumber men. And we've been trying to bring this to a lot of men's attention. We tried, but they're too stupid to get it. They think that women are the prize. They're brainwashed to believe that women are the prize. First off, to be honest with you, reality, nobody's surprised. We just basically are just following our basic animal instincts. If you really think about it, we ain't doing nothing but following our basic animal instincts.
Yeah, when we talk about it, we're just talking about biology of humans and get to know biology of humans, and better yet, get to know the biology of the female very well.
And you can do that by watching the wildlife.
Yeah, you're not gonna get that by listening to your third grade teacher either. You're gonna have to do some research on that.
National Geographic is a
yeah. There's some things about biology of the females that they ain't telling you.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, I want you to look at the key creatures to look for to reference humans. Number 3 is the lion. Number 2 is a cuttlefish. Number 1 is a bonobo. I'll tell you why I'm out those 3, and I know other people got their own 3. The lion. What happens when a male lion gets xed out the pride? She kills all the freaking previous generation of that. She kills that male's children. Yeah. Cuttlefish will do anything to get laid. Cuttlefish is a brilliant simp. He up here giving it to the chick and taking it in the ass at the same time, because he mimics the behaviors of the female. He is the king simp of the simps. He's taking it in the keister while basically pumping his seed in the goddamn chick. And then the reason I say bonobos or chimpanzees, bonobos, they are brutal. They are brutal when it comes to mating competition. They are very brutal. They will beat you. They will beat anything that is not of their troop with sticks. They will literally bite off body parts, genitalia, just to make sure that they suffer. Mm-hmm. You know, they are brutal. And that's why I say, look at the female nature of the bonobos and look at the female nature of any animal kingdom, male and female nature, the dynamics. Cuttlefish, female cuttlefish, she's taking a seed. She don't care, just like these women don't care if you're basically getting reamed in the tail while screwing her. In her world, she's getting best of both worlds. She's basically watching a dude get emasculated while taking a seed.
Yeah, that describes the human female too.
Yeah. Yeah. And the lions. Well, what do you think when a dude don't meet her standards? Abortion is a motherfucker.
Yep. This is why. Oh, my bad.
And then you get the bonobos, the female bonobos. If they're like I said, the dudes not only go after the men of the troop, they go after the females too. All because of the female nature of the bonobos. So we ain't nothing but lions, cuttlefish, and bonobos. We'll walk on 2 legs with guns, knives, and ball caps and clothing.
Man, I think we can reverse this, but a lot of messed up stuff's gonna have to happen. I mean, it's already happening. The women are gonna get knocked back to their default status, or even worse, because I've been telling people this for years. The moment we as men lose all of our rights, so too shall they. Yeah. They're just useful idiots for what's going on, and people can still keep their technology or whatever, but just move out of those cities. The rich have already done that. A lot of those blue bloods, they took their resources, like the 1%ers took their resources, went up high up north. Someone went over there to places like Switzerland and hell, even Sweden or whatever, and they can live amongst chaos because they're far away from it, high up in the mountain, damn silos. That's what they've been doing. They are ready for whatever comes and hits their way. It's the rest of us. They're gonna have to deal with the radiation and toxic fallout. And I'm telling people to right now detach yourself from this to any way possible, because it's not going to get better. It's just going to get worse. The COVID thing should be a warning, and it doesn't matter whether it clear up, whether it doesn't. This is just a warning of
I
what.
didn't learn anything during COVID. That was you weren't looking.
Yep, I learned a lot during COVID. I learned that they're getting ready for a nice hell of a takeover, you know. And I already know that in about 3 to 5 years, I'll be, if it's still going on, if this insanity is still going on, I will be barred from reenlistment, which basically frees me up.
Yeah. I woke up one morning. I tell this story once in a while. I woke up one morning, the water was off here, the electric was off, and at the only grocery store we have, I went up to the grocery store, and the night before they had moved most of the stuff off and it's like, this is a poor neighborhood here, and they had moved all the stuff. I asked the counter guy, where'd they move it to? They said, they moved it to the rich part of town. I was like, oh, that's what they think of you, and it was getting that close.
Yep. And it's like I said, it doesn't take much. Don't take much. And like I said, if you're too stupid, you're too stupid. They're too stupid to learn. These people are too stupid to learn. They don't.
That's why I no longer feel bad for him. I told my cousin not too long ago, dude, because he lost his job, and I told him, man, take your family, wife, kids, whatever, get the hell out of the city. And he laughed it off, saying, you can't be serious. Like, no, I'm dead serious. Like, I'm telling any sane person to just get the hell out of there. Thankfully, I'm a single dude, so I don't have his freaking problems. But I said, if you care about your family to any degree, do not raise them in this. There's nothing there for you. Because these simps or these idiots or whatever they're doing, they just damn it. They're going to be the casualties. They're going to be the ones that suffer. Vaccine or not vaccine be damned. We're entering a stage to where it won't even matter what you do, especially with that low hanging satellite that Elon wants to shoot up out there. They're writing it off as okay, you'll be able to have internet anywhere, but you'll also have no privacy. They're trying to make it to where we're all on one economy. No one has any privacy, and then later we're gonna get this thing called a literal fucking thought police. They'll probably call it something else, but
yeah, they'll rename it something different, something more pleasant.
Welcome to George Orwell's 1984.
Yep. And that's the thing. A lot of people think there are people that think they're safe via having a family. Like, you're not. I mean, for those who went out and screwed and had a bunch of kids or whatever, you're even more at risk because you're on the map now. But for the single guys such as us, it's just it sucks because we have less protection than everybody unless we get the hell out of there. And I've thought about this for a long time. As I get older, naturally, I'm going to get weaker. I don't have anybody to really watch my back. All I have right now is my
one
parents.
thing happens in here. MGTOW's got to get together and stop all this foolishness.
Yeah, we do. We have to stop the petty, crazy fighting, because in my life, all I have really is my parents, but I take care of them because they're old and everything. But like after that, I don't have any real family I can go to and ask for anything. So I have to kind of mentally prepare myself to be,
I've met Tico Trent. I've met Doc Holliday, not Doc, Sean Holliday. And, he used to be on YouTube. He scrubbed his channel and said the hell with it. But I've met Sean Holliday, Tico Trent, and a few others, And the thing is like they have a lot of different dynamics. A lot of these people have a different dynamics on how to do things, And it's crazy. I'm trying to get together, trying to meet up with MGTOW Savior, And problem is because when I was MGTOW in the wind, problem is trying to meet up with other MGTOW, but you don't show your face,
Right? Yeah. I was going to give a shout out to some of them.
Nobody's willing to take that chance, and it's like,
right. That's because they've made it so. The entryists have made it so difficult for us to trust each other now.
Right.
Yeah.
but there's clear-cut signs. You know a MGTOW when you see a MGTOW. You know a MGTOW when you listen to a MGTOW. He's asking questions. Now they've learned to mimic those things, but one of the reasons I do anti-fatherhood is because it sets them off. And then I know they're not a MGTOW.
Right. I ain't got no kids. I ain't got no wife.
Yeah.
I'm 33 years old, almost 34.
You say there's no such thing as a father to a traditionalite and in one of these entryist, and he'll go nuts.
It's nothing more than a sperm donor and a recipient.
Yeah, you're just a sperm donor, and that don't mean nothing. There's 2 strands of you exist in that baby, and that dies off after the first split.
Right.
I mean, hell, all you have to really say is something like sex is overrated and watch how pissed off they get. It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, you learn these little methods to bait them into giving themselves away. It's called the tell. Every card player knows it. And my tell is just anti-fatherhood. They'll start going nuts. So when I was on with MGTOW Dictionary, the first time I said that, and he went fucking nuts. And isn't it serendipitous that 2 years later, after all MGTOW didn't listen to me, that he came out as he was doxxed as a worker for the Health and Human Services.
Agent. I freely say to tell you that I'm in the National Guard. I'm probably going to be first to die. You know, they're gonna do whatever they can to kill him. They probably got something cooked up in the works to kill me.
Yeah,
that's why everyone needs to take their skills and team up or run away. Because I can relate to your experience, Trav. I mean, this guy named Nathaniel constantly using the MGTOW tag, and the moment he said women don't need to be accountable, that's when I knew he was full of shit. I mean, anyone walking around saying that women don't need to be accountable, that's a telltale sign
that they're not a MGTOW. They don't understand something.
And they need to be held responsible for their actions, for every single one of their actions. Yeah, just like men are being held responsible for every single one of their actions. Not only every single one of our actions, but every single one of women's actions.
Yeah, we're held responsible for everything. I'll say it's simple. You can't have a baby.
Right.
You can't have a baby.
I can't have a
baby.
Not
your baby. It's not your child. It's hers.
It's hers and the
government. She better be responsible for that.
You better. Yeah, exactly. It's hers and the government's.
Hers and the government's, and they will figure out every single way to pick your pocket.
I tried to.
They'll try to tell you that you know what it is when a man believes he's having a baby. That's called Coriolanus disease. It's a mental illness.
I ain't having a baby. Like I said, my wife's having a baby. I'm just basically there to hold the tail and watch.
Yeah, Al Bundy said it right. All masculinity was lost the first time a dude said we're having a baby, because we're not having a baby. She is.
Yeah, not to mention, I mean, I had a friend once pull this crap. You know, he was, I guess, like a male midwife or something, and he got mad because I told him, you know, calm down, you're not having a baby. And he's like, well, you never had a kid, so you don't understand this. And I kind of looked at him for a moment.
I've never had a kid, and I never will.
I've never.
You like your balls?
No, that's a telltale sign there, because a lot of these guys come around thinking they're having children and they're going to push for that fatherhood thing, and they're just wrong. And that's the lie. That's the biggest lie in the world. That's what do you call that's the lie that gets you believing you're a father and somehow you're responsible for her choices.
It'll only hurt for a little while. They'll only put the head of it in, and they'll promise that they'll never try to come in your mouth. The 3 biggest lies.
Yep. But
the big lie. That's the big lie in the universe right now, that you're a father. No, that's just father comes from the German pater. That means the responsible party. That means pay or.
Yeah, that's funny.
You know what else is a payer? An ATM.
Yeah. And the funny thing about it is like I've gotten to the point where my mentality is I ain't getting attached to the kid until the kid can walk.
Yeah, that's one of the things we have to watch. You can be a mentor figure, and you can you can show love for a child, but you are no way responsible for her acts. And
I think it's funny to have to explain
being human.
biology.
What's that?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just saying, I think it's kind of sad that we have to explain biology to the average dude nowadays because women, like everyone acts like a woman giving birth is just this magical thing. No, their body goes in preparation for that.
Yeah.
So it's just something that they're naturally doing. But you get men walking around saying, "Oh, well, shut up, like, well, if you never had a baby, so you wouldn't understand." And like you say, you're right, and I never will. But they act as if they're somehow giving birth. It's just weird. It's a
it's
weird.
a tell. It's because they're programmed that way. They're programmed to think that way. The real masculine position on that is, I'm not having a baby. She is.
Yeah, man. And
once you start thinking about MGTOW in that way, oh, the whole world unfolds. The whole lie unfolds in front of you.
Yep. And it's like, he doesn't. The child doesn't become your son until after they can walk and talk.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. When you can become a mentor figure, when it understands simple mathematics and language.
I mean, if you reverse it in any other way, it's kind of crazy though. Pretend I planted a seed and then corn comes up and I run around saying like, I'm having corn. I'm having corn.
No, your fields are having corn. What you are doing is collecting the byproduct of it.
Exactly.
We can't cut them down because that would be killing my babies.
Yeah, okay. Watch me with a can of gasoline and a lighter.
Yeah, no harvest. Anti-harvest. Yeah, someday there's going to be simp anti-harvesters.
Watch me be the harvester of popcorn.
Oh, which brings me around to the that has a big McClintock went on to prove about sexual cripness through a process that's what is it called? It's what she does is she simply takes a photograph of your DNA and it goes through a process called the jumping gene. That's what happens in her body. The jumping gene, the genes jump around. There's some people think that they intertangle and they hug. That's more symbolities. No, the genes just jump around. She takes a photograph, the two genes with the signets, and then nothing of you exists after that. In there. The kid just mimics your genes. It's a photograph. It's a duplication of. That does not make you responsible because somebody can duplicate your genes. It'd be like a mad scientist and he gets a little piece of your DNA and he duplicates your genes and says, "Now you got to pay me."
Yeah, that's mighty messed up though. Like I said, the way I see it is like, I'm trying to say, I got myself out of one hole, about to get myself out of another hole, so I'm good, you know.
And like you say, like we always say, it's through the biggest hypocrisy to me is when I see females arguing about, oh, he got me drunk and got me pregnant. You know what they do to men every single day? Them pheromones attack you. They turn on chemicals in your head that are 10 times more powerful than heroin. They get you drunk, make you believe you're a father, and pretty much rape you, and then they say you're responsible.
Exactly. And that's why, like, I mean, when I was walking in this truck stop, this chick, I mean, I was literally like, I'd say about 20 feet away, and I could literally smell this chick's perfume.
Right.
I'm like,
yeah. Oh, I've had that happen where a certain type of woman came around and I can automatically within 15 to 30 seconds later, I feel those hormones working on me and I exit.
Yeah, I literally keep my head straight, keep my head. I was like, wow, this chick's freaking strong.
She is strong. I've run around. Yeah, I've seen a lot of girls that were strong in that aspect.
And literally, I will literally just, and when I smelled it, I walk faster, you know.
Oh yeah, and it don't take much. You start kissing on her and sharing bacteria, and that's what it is. You know what uh, pheromones are? Dead bacteria. You put that in your mouth, you rub it on your skin, it gets in you, and then you have 3 times more dead bacteria. She carries 3 more times more pheromones than you do, or bacteria. Just by the nature of the body, they carry 3 times more from their teeth to their private parts, and she infects you with that, and then you turn into a simp.
Yep.
That's how that process works. You're a fucking zombie. You want to biology, the zombie ant in England.
Yep.
Wow.
Or the female wasp, or the freaking Venus flytraps.
It's called humans call it interspecific human mimicry, but it's a side product of aggressive mimicry.
But they are quick to say that they're not like everybody. They're not like every other woman.
Yeah, no waltz until they're not.
Right.
Well,
Real quick.
in a way, they're telling the truth. Like they're not like every other woman. Like some plants are more poisonous than others.
Yeah, some plants are more poison than others. Yeah, some vipers bite.
Yeah, like you don't see me snuggling up to a pit viper.
Yeah. I say Marcus the Metaphysical had AWOL. He had the AWOL and the NAWOL down perfectly. He said all women are like that is a syllogistic truth. All women are like what? They're like women. It's a syllogistic truth. NAWOL does not fall under a syllogistic truth. All women are not all women are like what? Not like women? That's stupid.
Right. Like I said, and like I said in my last video, so you're a traditional woman from what era?
But you'll see every simp that comes around, from Dr. Grande to what's that other guy, the bulldog mindset. They all do. There's a Nawalt out there. No, Nawalt is an irrational statement.
Right. Just like a unicorn.
Yeah, there is no such thing. It's an irrational. It doesn't make sense logistically. It doesn't make sense logically, and it's just that's the fantasy fiction world that they believe. There's a herd of unicorns out there that are beautiful, and one of them's yours because God saved it for you. No, God didn't save the unicorn so you could put your dick in.
Shit, God put them motherfuckers extinct.
What is God now? Pimp Daddy God? That's what I did yesterday. Pimp Daddy God.
Pimp Daddy God. Gotta go out there and make me that money for the government.
Yeah, he's saving one for you.
Yeah, man, you get more done saving me a beer.
Yeah, yeah, just save me one of those beers. I'll be sitting over there on the MGTOW bench.
The kicker about all this is, even I'm not so much religious anymore, but even the Bible even speaks to this. God couldn't even get it right. Made the first woman Lilith. Lilith acted like such a fool.
Yeah.
She was giving birth to demons left and right. And he said, "Okay, send some angels down there, not to beat her butt." And apparently, some of her little demonic children survived. Then he makes Eve. Eve gets her and Adam kicked out of Garden of Eden. And I made a joke, said, "Man, that must have been the day the first belt was made, because he must have went back, turned that snake into a belt, and beat Eve's butt into the ground."
The argument against religion to existentialism is, man, your God was an incompetent God. It must have been it must have been a woman, because it was really incompetent.
Wow.
That's the thing. I think as science grows, we as MGTOW, we're logical. We will find, if we can't fix something, we'll replace it. Right. And in other words, like we find the best option, or whatever is viable.
Yeah, we find the most truth in any statement, and we use that. And then when that changes and somebody conflicts with that, and if you find critique in that doesn't no longer work, we find the next truthful statement.
Right.
And that's all you can do in life, is find the truth. And when
I haven't yet. You still can't even. I haven't yet been disproved. It's not yours. She's not yours. It's just your turn. because my brother's getting. My brother came in came into the relationship with children, and he came on there just as much children as his current wife. I'm like, okay, it just basically proves it's not you, she's not yours. It's just your turn.
It's just your turn, yeah. Yeah, over my lifetime, I've had them arguments over the last 20 years that I've been a MRA and MGTOW, and I've seen it too many times, and none of them are going to come back and say, Joe, you were right. But we've had a few hi guy situations in MGTOW where they're like, hi guys, I'm back. You were right.
Right.
Most people have that ego, that male ego, that they're going to keep trying. They're going to get back on the horse because some jackass religious person told them, get back on that horse and keep trying.
Are you out of your mind? If a horse has kicked me off multiple times, last time I checked, I'm not a paid rodeo bull rider.
Yeah, that thing's going to end up in a meat factory.
Right. Let's just break this here. I'm not a bronco rider. I'm not a bull rider. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and try to ride a bull or a bronco for 8 to 30 seconds. Gee, that stuff's for the birds. You know.
Yeah.
Get back on that horse. The Lord commands you to get back to the horse. The Lord can command me all I want. I'm sick of getting hooves to the ass. Well,
but their whole system is built on the traditional religious system. No, you just got to untangle it. And what I always say is, think about yourself as an uncontacted person, and it's called the original position. It's the position of the veil of ignorance. Anytime they try to tell you something, think about the veil of ignorance. Say, I don't know nothing about that, and just look at it a veil of ignorance and start building from there.
Yep. Hey, I'm gonna let y'all go. I gotta feed my dog now, and I gotta get me some sleep. Try to get this 8-3 split to get the split sleeper.
Yeah, I can't go 7 hours today like we did last time. I gotta fix my lawnmower. I got a new carburetor and a new magneto I got put in today.
All right, this is. I'm gonna let y'all go. Let y'all finish skinning or screwing this cat. Whatever y'all do with the cat nowadays.
Yeah, we're skinning the cat.
Yeah, this is MGTOW the win. I'm just holding. I'm gonna pass the tail to somebody else. All right, signing off.
Someone did that in MGTOW once. They put up a picture as like skinning the cat, the analogy, and they put up of Korean people. And you know how many people was just bizarre over that? Cats are really delicious. I think it was who's the old guy over that used to come in a lot? Juliette Lewis. He got the beard like me. I can't remember his name.
Warhorse?
Warhorse, yeah. Warhorse put a thing up of somebody cooking a cat. Everybody went nuts about that. It was like he dropped it in some bizarre simp stream or something, and it's like it's like that's all MGTOW's doing, skinning a cat. Them are delicious. Oh man, yeah, I cannot go 7 hours today, so we might as well start wrapping this up. Like I said, I got my lawnmower parts today. My grass is knee high because my lawnmower busted, and I got my parts today. So either today or tomorrow morning, I got to get out there and cut the grass, but I got to fix the lawnmower first. So with that, anybody got any closing statements?
Well,
no.
Guess I'll go with mine. Just to those watching this, and really everybody, hold on to your rights. Protect yourself at all times. Preferably don't kill each other over toilet paper because there's alternatives. And above all else, value your freedom.
Value your freedom, yeah. Serenity is freedom. It's synonymous with each other. And with that, I want to thank everybody for coming on. Thanks Loki, and thanks Red Pill, MGTOW that came in, and Black Wolf, and Juliette Lewis for joining in. And I'm Trav. I'm Coach Trav. That's getting old, isn't it? The Coach Trav thing. I was trying to figure out something more sarcastic to put up there, but I'll figure it out sometime this week when I run into something really sarcastic. And some people don't know that I'm being an asshole when those things. It's like sarcasm. But thanks a lot for coming around, and anybody that comes through or comes upon this. I hope you learned something. I hope you take this stuff seriously. Things are getting bad out there, and we're asked to believe things that just aren't true to make other people feel good about themselves. Them things are all bad for you. You're not the protector. You're not the provider anymore. They just want somebody to do all that for them. And with that, I'll close this thing up like always. Thanks for coming around, and thanks for being MGTOW. MGTOW.